Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining me on today, I am your gracious host, Megan, here at the Astro Queen. We use celestial bodies to help us gain a better understanding of our favorite celebrities, world events, but most importantly, our damn selves, okay? So, if you like what you see, thumbs up this video, share with a friend, and hit that subscribe button to become a part of the family. You know you want to. Also, hit that notification bell so that way you will be alerted whenever I make a post, because YouTube be acting funny, okay? And we're going to get to 10K. It's been a long time coming, but we're right around the corner, okay? Okay. So, right quick, right fast, I wanted to start with Miss G to the L to the O, Big Glow. A lot of stuff has been going on with Miss Glorilla lately, but I want to start with her D.U.I, okay? So, Glorilla, just in case you've been living under a rock, she is an artist, a rapper from Memphis, okay? She signed to Yo Gotti. She had that FNF joint that came out, last year? The year before that? Whatever, okay? Pretty popular rapper. Recently was in the news following her DUI arrest, okay? And the body cam footage from the responding officer or officers was recently made public, and everybody got a good cackle, okay? And when I say everybody, I mean like a lot of people in these blog comment sections, and myself included, because Shawty really looked at the officer and asked the officer, do you know who I am? You know, the famous do you know who I am trick, right? Where celebrities try to use their star power to get out of being held accountable in the way that an everyday regular civilian would, okay? And I gagged when the officer said no. Like, oh, the jail you go, sweetheart, okay? They had this girl do the sobriety test. It was just a mess, okay? Then she had her titty meat hanging out, and you know she only got a scoop and a half, maybe not even a half, one scoop of titty meat, thanks to her breast augmentation, right? Because before that, like back when she was like unsigned, it was giving boy. It was giving little brother chest, okay? But that's neither here nor there. I got a nice little chuckle, nice little cackle. I did get a lot of requests in terms of revisiting her natal chart, because I did do a formal like celebrity natal chart reading for Glorilla. Whenever you're finished with this video and you haven't seen it, go check it out. So yeah, I just want to put all of the shenanigans into more of an astrological perspective by taking a look at Glorilla's natal chart to see exactly what in her chart, right, aligns with this most recent experience. Because as you know, our natal charts literally are the foundation and can set the tone for a lot of the things that we experience, whether it be circumstantial wise or things that could happen to us just based on our environment. A lot of psychological and even physiological circumstances oftentimes can be seen within our natal chart, because really all it takes is the perfect transit to set things into motion. I didn't care enough to get into her transits, but once again, I definitely saw a couple of different aspects that lent themselves to Glorilla getting this DUI. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right on into it. So Miss Glorilla was born on July 28th, 1999 in Memphis, Tennessee. And this will place her sun as well as her Mercury in Leo. Now, for the intent and purposes of this particular reading, we want to focus more so on Mercury in her chart and what Mercury is doing. Why, you might ask? Well, Mercury in astrology governs vehicles. This is because Mercury, which one of Mercury's ruling signs would be Gemini, okay? Gemini is the natural ruler of the third house, which also deals with vehicles, right? Can't have a DUI without a vehicle. Or can you? I don't know. Don't answer that question. Don't answer that question. So, Glorilla has her Mercury at the first degree of Leo. Now, this Mercury is also forming a conjunction to her sun. And this is going to be really important because when we talk about sun in conjunction to Mercury, in any sign, a lot of times this can produce an individual who A, could be really into cars, and then B, like, as a driver, they could be the types to make very, like, risky decisions when they get behind the wheel. Okay, Sun in conjunction to Mercury, and it doesn't always have to be bad, but when you introduce Leo into the equation, you know, a sign like Leo, these are people who 9 times out of 10 they're probably going to be either like in a luxury vehicle. You know, she does have Mercury squaring Jupiter in Taurus, so I mean, she probably got like a gas guzzler or an expensive ass fucking, you know, luxury car that just brought a lot of unnecessary, unwanted, undesired attention to her anyway, right? And with that Sun Mercury conjunction, you know, especially in Leo, these are people who are more likely to just, once again, take unnecessary risk. Leo does rule risk. Sun in conjunction to Mercury can promote risky behavior in cars, you know, even somebody who can do some, like, I would even say maybe distracted driving. They got a lot of different things going on at once. You're trying to operate the radio, maybe even talk on the phone, do a little of this, do a little of that, all while you behind the wheel. And that's before we introduce the presence of any kind of narcotics or whatever the case may be. Leo, as an archetype, because it naturally rules the 5th house, has this certain element of recreation to it. So on an individual level, and someone with Sun in conjunction to Mercury in Leo could absolutely be a party animal. Is that a problem in and of itself? No, it's not. But this brings me to my next point. Glorilla has Neptune at the 2nd degree of Aquarius, which is forming a very tight opposition to both that Sun and Mercury. Okay? Mercury in opposition to Neptune is a D.U.I. aspect every day of the week. That's just what it is. That's the sentence. Hook, line, and sinker. Okay? This opposition between her Mercury and Neptune may have resulted in her, once again, driving just distracted or being very negligent on the road, not paying attention to what she's doing. I'm not sure exactly what it was that got her pulled over. Y'all feel free to, you know, inform me in the comment section. But this could be a person who could also, like, fall asleep in the car, right? That's an aspect that could result in falling asleep in the car, or like I said, deciding to, you know, get in the car after having a couple of drinks, or while being under medication. I've even seen this aspect, even in personal natal chart readings, result in, like, maybe a person having DRUGS inside of their vehicle, right? So where, you know, things could take a sharp left turn in terms of, like, possession and whatever. So you got to be really, really careful if you are somebody with this aspect. And Mercury in opposition to Neptune, when you are drinking or when you are inebriated, this is an aspect that can, where a lot of intoxicants can really have an adverse impact on, like, your cognizant or on your cognitive abilities. So you know how you'll have some people who could drink and maybe they're a lot more, you know, like, it's harder to tell that they're drunk. Or, you know, people who can, because let's be real, I'm not advocating it, I don't condone it, I'm not saying it's okay, but I also have Neptune in my 3rd house conjoined to my North Node, and realistically, I understand that people do, like, you know, drink and then get in the car, you know, maybe even casually. It's happened. A lot of people have done it, including myself, and I'm not proud of it. But not everybody gets caught up with a DUI. Not everybody blacks out and, you know, kills someone else or themselves on the road while doing so. And so natally, if you are an individual with Mercury in opposition to Neptune, you may be a person who is not that equipped to be able to consume alcohol or consume intoxicants and then actually be able to, get behind the wheel and get to where you're going safely. For these people, like, even their motor responses and things like that can be severely delayed. And even in the sign of Leo, when we talk about Sun and Mercury in Leo opposing Neptune, these two are two aspects that can make a person very sloppy, like when they get drunk, or a person who can just be a party animal. But you can look at this in the context of like someone who goes to extremes. Like, once the presence of alcohol or drugs are introduced, they just, like, in terms of their cognitive abilities and everything else, they lose all control. And it will be very, very, very noticeable. I actually used to be friends with a dark-sided Leo who was, oh my God, the most obnoxious person you've ever met in your life when she was drunk. That's very dark-sided Leo. Extremely obnoxious drunks. And so that opposition to the Sun and Mercury in Leo does not help Glorilla at all. That could also deal with where she gets under the influence and anything is liable to come out of her mouth. She's liable to say and do anything. It's just, these are people who might need, like, low-key babysitters. Low-key, maybe even the key is high when they get drunk. So I don't even know what possessed her to, like, feel like she can actually get in the car and drive. That's insane. That's crazy. She also has some other important contacts being made with Neptune that I thought would be worth mentioning. For example, she does have her Neptune forming a conjunction to her moon. Now, this is the boo flashage, okay? The moon represents the breasts for women. So that is the aspect that dealt with her having her titties out, especially while she was drunk. And once again, it ties back to that theme of being drunk and even just sloppy. Like, moon in conjunction to Neptune in Aquarius. This could be a person who gets drunk and then takes all their clothes off, or, gets drunk and you're like, hold on now. I looked over to the left and I look back and this bitch, she got her titties hanging out. She half dressed. Like, what happened? So once again, very, 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 very messy, very sloppy. But this is an aspect that can also suggest some sort of, like, dependency. Even in tandem with Sun and Mercury in opposition to Neptune, I wonder if Glo could have a problem. And I want her to be really careful with that. I'm not saying she's an alcoholic. I'm not saying she's a weed head, drug head. I don't know, right? But just based on her natal chart alone, it's very reminiscent of someone who could have dependency issues, okay? Reading between the lines here. She also has her Scorpio Mars, which is at the 9th degree. That is a placement in and of itself that can also be very self-destructive. Then she has Sun Square Mars too. Don't even get me started. I got a whole series coming up on the Sun and Mars, especially as it's expressed with women, where, these can be daredevils. That would be somebody who feels like, they can be invincible or, or driven to doing things they ain't got no business doing, right? Very destructive, and doing things that ultimately can end up getting herself hurt or killed or others. But that Mars is also squaring Neptune, which is another telltale aspect of drug and or alcohol addiction, dependency, that kind of thing. So, I don't know. I would be careful. If I were speaking to Glorilla, I would definitely advise her to be careful. I really don't understand why these celebrities can't just call an Uber, you know what I'm saying, or a driver. Once you get to a certain level and you're making a certain amount of money, I personally don't understand the need to hop inside of a car for really anything and drive. She also has that Mercury in Leo, squaring Jupiter at the 3rd degree of Taurus. Now, this could deal with her driving like a gas guzzler, a car that's not really good on gas, but it's really expensive and it's very flashy and it's very like, you know, like I said, top of the line luxury car. So, and it just looks, she looks good in it. But this could also suggest where she may have to come out of pocket quite a bit of money. So you could definitely consider this situation a very expensive mistake for her to make. Now, I also meant to mention, too, with the presence of Neptune and all of this Neptune contact going on within Glorilla's chart, she has her Neptune squaring her Jupiter, that same Jupiter at the 3rd degree of Taurus, which could also deal with her making a costly mistake, you know, someone having to pay money to stay out of jail or, you know, that kind of thing. But Neptune also does rule jail, prisons, along with alcohol and things of that nature. So even with her, you know, Sun and Mercury opposition to Neptune, those are also two aspects that can absolutely land a person behind bars for various reasons. But, you know, even within the context of a DUI, that still checks out. All of this checks out. So she just needs to be careful because, you know, I definitely see, I don't want to say jail in her future, but, you know, if she's someone who doesn't learn from her mistakes, this could definitely come back to bite her in the butt again. You know, even if not through DUI, you know, doing things, hanging out with people that can get her into legal trouble. But I also would caution her to get some help for any type of dependency she may have as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop on this note. Y'all let me know if any of these aspects sound familiar to you, whether you have them in your natal chart or maybe someone else does. I would love to hear you sound off in the comment section below. And until the next video, I'll talk to y'all soon. Love you. Bye.